Don't ask me to talk.
From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Join me, Stacey Heller,
And me, Eric Ryder.
as we talk about what's good to watch, read, see, listen to, and more.
An edutaining 1 hour break in your day that includes the segment, What Are We Eating? Sponsored by Dingfelder's Delicatessen.
Stick with us for something good.
Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Ask Me to Talk here on Kixie. This show, we like to think of it as a distraction from all the negative stuff that we consume daily, or not even negative. Sometimes it's just serious. Sometimes life is serious. So we instead focus on goodness because good stuff should be shared. I'm Stacey Heller, and of course I'm joined by my co-host, Eric Ryder. Hey,
It's me, Eric Ryder. How are ya?
I'm good. I'm excited for today's show because we have some really fun topics and some fun holidays with the Z to talk about.
That's right.
I do want to thank everyone, of course, that listens to the show. If you like it, tell people about it. Share it. That's the whole premise of the show. Good stuff should be shared. And you can actually find this show on really any podcast platform that you like finding your podcasts. So whether it's Apple or Google or, Spotify, wherever it is, check it out, share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, if you want to connect with us, you can text or call 475-999-2726.
Or 475-999-ZAP-AM.
Really liking the Zap-Am. Really liking that Zap-Am.
Sticks in the head.
Right? It does. So, hey, our high holidays, our ridiculous holidays, we have a couple of good ones today. So, on this day, it is National Eat Outside Day. Now,
Okay. I mean, I'm glad that they picked a September day for National Eat Outside Day rather than, say, a December National Eat Outside Day. It's much more likely that this will get celebrated rather than if it was in the winter.
I agree. And I was thinking about this, and I feel like the pandemic really helped at least the United States, or maybe just where we are, more fully embrace the idea of outdoor dining.
It did, yeah, and definitely the United States. But of course, there's been some drawbacks with the steps taken to enable folks to eat al fresco, as they say in France, I believe.
Yes.
You know, there was like shelters built and streets closed. And then, of course, during the pandemic, some of those shelters had less airflow than the restaurants that they were trying to supplement. And then, of course, you had people using those, especially in New York. I've heard about this, like people using those for nefarious means and not just for outdoor dining.
Right.
So,
of course.
That's society, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, it's exactly like take something good and what is it? It's one bad apple spoils the bunch.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a thing. Also
Try to get good apples and then eat them outside today.
Right. It is also it is Cat Month. It is National Cat Month. And
every month is Cat Month in my book.
I agree. But in particular, September happens to be Cat Month. And it also happens to be Ginger Cat Appreciation Day.
Aww.
So, and not my great, I don't have grandchildren, so it can't be my great grandchild. My grandkitty, he is a ginger. So, I mean, hey, Wilson, happy Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. So that's a thing.
Well,
Okay.
my ginger cat, Fergal, unfortunately passed away earlier this year. And so I'm still a little bit sad not having him around because he was around hanging out with me for 18 years, and we had a good time.
Aw.
And I still miss
Aw.
him quite a bit, but we planted a plant. I can't remember the name of the plant, but it's got bright orange flowers and it's in full bloom. So I see that every day when I come home, and it reminds me of him. And so, it's a
Aw.
little tribute to Fergal. And who knows, maybe someday I'll have another kitty move in.
Oh, that's sweet. That is very sweet.
I'll try to make it
Yeah,
into September to, go along with National Cat Month.
yeah, well, it's also chicken month, so I'm guessing that that's not like, your pet chicken, but I don't know,
No.
it might be. Um, the other thing, so
Chicken makes
September,
lousy house pet. That's
right?
That just reminds me of
Well,
that Dana Carvey sketch from long ago.
oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Well, and as I'm scrolling through the September holidays, apparently it's also National Chicken Boy Day.
What?
Which, yeah, so here's what it says. September 1 celebrates the statue of Chicken Boy, a man with a chicken head located on Avenue 56 at the top of Future Studio. Chicken Boy has been a prominent fixture for 10 years and counting. I don't know. It was a promotional gimmick for a fast food restaurant in downtown LA.
Okay.
And so it's 22 feet tall, and he is jokingly referred to as the Statue of Liberty of LA.
I've
he's
been to
along
LA
Route
a few
66.
times, but I don't think I've seen Chicken Boy. Oh, you know what? Now
Well-
that I look at the images, I haven't seen Chicken Boy in the flesh or in the whatever he's made of in the steel, but I've seen Chicken Boy on TV shows and in images before.
Right?
Yeah, and he's a man with a chicken head holding a bucket, presumably of chicken. And
Which,
yeah, this is the Statue of Liberty of Los Angeles. That's great.
right? I know. I'm like, so does that make him like a cannibal, a chickenable? I don't know what that makes him.
It's always very confusing when you start making the animal that you're serving as a dish the mascot for your restaurant. It becomes kind of disturbing once you start doing the math on that. And there again, Saturday Night Live had a very funny sketch about that, like a parody commercial that was Clucky's fried chicken, and he's like, I taste great. Well worth looking up if you haven't seen that one.
I totally I know these. Wow, you and I both watch the same. Like, I feel like SNL has like waves of like eras, and
Yeah.
There's some really good ones. I'm a little sad about some of the cast that has left this year, but we'll see. They always seem to bring new people. Okay, now there's two birthdays that we're celebrating today, and they are on two ends of the spectrum. So I had the wrong birthdays in my notes here, but have no fear, because similar to the contradiction that was the birthdays I thought it was, there is Chanel West Coast. Yes, that is right. It is Chanel West Coast's birthday.
Is that a
You know who that
person
is?
or a thing?
Well,
Is that we're talking about the brand Chanel and their West Coast division? What is this?
no, Chanel
I can't be the
West
only one that
Coast-
has never heard of this. I've heard of
She is-
Chicken Boy, but not Chanel
So-
West Coast.
Here's the deal. Chanel West Coast, it is the stage name for this reality television star that
Oh, okay,
first
there you
came
go.
to prominence on Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory and Ridiculousness. So she's the blonde gal, and she's also a musician, and I'm using air quotes. Um, so she has been on tour and she's done some mixtape stuff, and I can't remember what the name of her song was, but she signed with uh Lil Wayne and his Young Money record label. And yeah, so that's one end of the spectrum for birthdays today. And
Okay,
then on
so
the
this is
other
a
end
hip
of the
hop artist. No, that's why I don't
yeah, that's
necessarily
like
know.
saying that Paris Hilton, when she did her song Stars Are Blind, is a pop artist.
Well,
So
she was a
I'm
pop
just
artist.
saying. I mean, yes,
Yep. You're just saying not particularly good in their genre.
correct. Just
Fair enough.
not nuanced. And
Right.
then on the other end of the spectrum, it is Barry Gibb's birthday
Of the Bee Gees, of course.
of the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's two ends of the musical spectrum in terms
There you
of
go.
hits, experience, fan base,
Success.
success.
Yes. It's
I mean,
very few artists as successful as the Bee Gees.
and speaking of SNL, huge fan of when Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake would do the Barry Gibb talk show,
That's right.
right?
It all ties back to SNL.
Right. Giving it up for the Barry Gibb talk show. Mm-hmm.
They've been
Yeah.
on for like 40 years, so of course there's
Yeah,
going to be some
so-
cultural touchstones there.
Absolutely. And so happy birthday to Barry Gibb. I mean, I think I saw Saturday Night Fever and Grease as a double feature when it came out, or a couple years after it came out, and that was quite the double feature to see at 7 or 8 whenever it came out. I was like, what is happening here? But the music, unbelievable for both movies.
Yeah. Well, I just got to say that I'm impressed that Barry Gibb is still staying alive, staying alive.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So September is a big month.
Because he's
Today is
75, by the way.
Wow. Wow. Every time I hear about somebody and how old they are, I will say it just ends up making me feel old. I'm like, oh, they're not as old as I thought they
Yeah,
were. Like,
I'm
I
not
thought
saying
we were-
75 is that old, but of course, recently Olivia Newton-John just passed on, and she was around the same age. So, and musicians, it seems like, for whatever reason, don't typically live all that long.
Right.
So,
Right.
to still be going strong and still be active at 75, hats off.
100%, totally. So there is a ton of different things that it is this month besides National Chicken Month. Celebrate Chicken Boy. It's like Food Safety Month and National Cholesterol, but those are not as fun. So with our topic today, the Barry Gibb and Chanel West Coast, that's kind of a perfect tie-in to what we're talking about today. So do you want to take a quick break here? And then when we come back, we
Yes.
talk about the topic?
Yeah, our topic of our top 5 favorite albums.
Yeah, this was really hard.
Yes, and we'll do individual ones because I don't think our tastes line up exactly, but I bet there's, your top 5, probably, a lot of them probably appear in my top 300 or whatever, and maybe, maybe likewise. We'll find out. But before we do that, before we get to the breaks, we had talked at one point of doing a segment that would be like stuff I forgot to mention or
Yeah.
mistakes maybe that I want to address. So I was thinking we should maybe bring this segment back and maybe call it Regrets. I've had a few. What do you think?
Oh, I like that. Oh my gosh. That's okay. So do you have regrets from last week's episode?
I do have regrets from last week because I was listening and I realized that I accidentally said that Mike Ditka co-created Spider-Man. And of course, I meant Steve Ditko, but in my, excitement of talking about Spider-Man, I said Mike Ditka, who, of course, during the 80s was the coach for the Chicago Bears. Da Bears.
I think you mean Da Bears.
That's
exactly.
right. To tie it back into Saturday Night Live again. Da Bears.
Of course.
So
yes,
Mike Ditka is not Steve Ditko, the legendary comic book artist, and I knew that, but I just misspoke. But I wanted to bring it up because when I heard that, I laughed, but I was also a little bit horrified.
Well, and the funny thing is, when you hear something and I know exactly who Mike Ditka is. I know, my kids are into comic books, so I knew what you were saying, and yet heard it and didn't even register because it was yep, totally. So good for you. All right, I like
somebody
that.
out there wow, he really had a varied career.
Right? Oh my gosh, the Bears, the Spiders, the Batman, the Superman. Oh my gosh. All right, I've added to our show notes regrets. I've had a few. All right.
Awesome. Let's take a break and then we'll hop right into the topic.
Awesome.
Stay tuned for more Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Whether it's fly fishing or French pastry, we all have something that makes our tail wag. Involuntary and instinctive, it's sparked by excitement, inspired by purpose, and it speaks to who we are. I'm Stacey Heller of Stacey Connects. I lead clients to the place that makes their tail wag. As a creative director, I bring ideas to life. As a podcast producer, I give ideas a voice. Stacey Connects. It's my superpower. If you want to connect with me, Stacey Heller, go to staceyconnects.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are talking today. Well, first of all, in case you're just tuning in here, this is Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Stacey Heller. Of course, I'm joined by Eric Ryder. And we are talking today about our top 5 favorite albums. Okay. Now, this wasn't easy. And I will say you are far more musically aware and diverse in your knowledge than I am.
I'm not
sure
that's 100% true, but I'll take it. I'm happy to go along with that description because I do love music quite a bit.
Yeah, and and there's no own it. The music I found that I picked, because trying to narrow it down, I picked albums that I would never be disappointed if any song on the album played, that if I was on a deserted island and I only had 5, that they would bring me back to certain times in my life, memories associated, people. So the listening is rich in terms of the context of the time and the place and where I was in my life. Some classics and
this is a common topic of discussion. And you can do this with your friends at home, by the way, if you need an icebreaker. Top 5 albums or desert island discs. And I always wonder what desert island has a functioning CD player or record player or whatever. And then somebody could easily make all the critics lists by, just releasing like a water filter with their record and, or make their record a functioning water filter. And then they'd be top of the list of desert island discs. You must have this. So.
I have an idea for a podcast. I think that we need to get the professor from Gilligan's Island, or a voice actor, obviously, since he was able to get a radio at times so that they could listen to music and all that kind of
stuff. Made
of
coconuts, I think.
Pretty much. Maybe he needs to be the one that does like the desert island discs, right? With like DJ Professor Coconut or something. All right.
Maybe.
Okay. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to, I didn't order mine in like number of like my number one fave. I just did 5, and at any given time, the order could change.
Likewise.
Okay. So do you want to like each do our list, or do you want to go like,
yeah, why don't
we
we start with your list and then we'll get to mine.
Okay. So the first on my list is the record 3 Feet High and Rising by De La Soul.
You love De La Soul.
I love De La Soul, and De La Soul,
classic hip hop artist,
right?
Groundbreaking in the mid 80s and late 80s, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the frustrating thing about De La Soul music, especially this iconic 3 Feet High and Rising album, is that you cannot find it anywhere. It's not on any streaming services. So I had to go and I had to buy the disc. Yes, that's right, folks. And I can only listen to it in my car, which has a disc player in the glove box. And it's really hard to find, it's not anywhere streaming. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sure they've been in negotiations or something. Maybe Eric, you know more about it, but
yeah, apparently you can listen on YouTube, Pandora, Apple Music, etc. But you're probably using Spotify, and it doesn't look like it's on Spotify. So
wait, are you kidding me? Wait, 3 Feet High and Rising though is on there?
Yep.
Okay. I'm shook.
I mean, this might have happened in between you buying the physical copy, but I think, with music, if it's something you really love, you need to own the physical copy because you definitely appreciate it more listening to something as a piece rather than just, having a tune pop up in a shuffle.
Totally. And I will say that 3 Feet High and Rising, there is so many little bits that are random little standalone or like intros or outros to songs.
23 tracks on it. So some of these have got to be fairly short, I imagine.
Yep, totally. So anyway, that's that one. Then of course, Violent Femmes.
The self-titled debut album.
Yep. And I know every song on that album by heart. And I was so proud when my son Charlie, who all summer had been hosting this Sunday, they call it book group, but it's like album group. And one of his friends would bring an album into the discussion, and they would all listen to it throughout the week and then talk about what they liked, what they didn't. And one of his friends brought in this particular album, and I was like, are you kidding me right now? Am I potentially cool? So
this one, I mean, I love this album as well. This was a staple in high school for me. But it was released in 1983, but I think every high schooler goes through a phase where Violent Femmes is in their top 5 for sure. And it still sounds great to this day. They were, a kind of a groundbreaking indie band. And yeah, I mean, great songs, Blister in the Sun, Please Do Not Go, Promise, Gone Daddy Gone, Kiss Off, Add It Up. I mean, these are all classics. And, they were they were such a different band because they were a rock and roll trio, but they played acoustic instruments, but they didn't play them like the Kingston Trio or whatever. They played them aggressively, and and their arrangements were very interesting. Sometimes they would just kind of go off in a song and verge into a whole different direction than you might expect. And the lyrics are very angsty, but so catchy. And I think that's a great choice.
Thank you very much. I also chose,
and they're still touring to this day, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing.
I'm like, it's unbelievable. The Joshua Tree, of course, U2.
U2, sure.
That is a classic for me. I listened to that tape on repeat when I worked in Maine for one summer in particular. And the soundtrack of that moment in my life is Joshua Tree. I was working in Maine in the northern part, in on the lakes. I was learning what awesome means, except for, other than a Valley Girl catchphrase, awesome. I learned what it really meant. And that particular album, with just the big sounds that it had, it still has that same, it gives me shivers vibe.
Yeah, from 1987, I remember this being a massive album. Where the Streets Have No Name, of course, maybe the biggest hit, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Like the first couple tracks, just huge singles for the band. And really this, I think, was their big breakthrough in the U.S., and kind of sealed them as being probably the biggest band in the world, in 1987. And then, they've kind of held on to that title pretty much since then. Based on the strength of all the singles that came out after that. I mean, they were popular before, of course, but this,
right.
This album really made them huge in the U.S. And, when you're huge in the U.S., you're pretty much huge everywhere.
Totally. I mean, dare I say it, they're almost a modern day or a my generation's Beatles, right? And, Bono with all the charity work that he does, and just generally being around. Obviously, the Beatles weren't around for as long as U2 has been, but just this idea of them being this massive band. They've changed the sound as they've grown and developed, and they feel like a movement more than a band.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, and speaking of the Beatles, I had to put in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Of all of, I was gonna cheat. I had typed in one, because I was like, oh, that's like remastered all of the hits and whatever. And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I am gonna pick one of them. And so I decided to go with that one. There's just so much there, and it's like, I don't know, it's ridiculous and joyous and fun and playful, and I don't know, that is the Beatles at their best. And then my last one, this was I was telling my kids about this, and they were like, seriously, you're going to put this? But yeah, 100% I'm going to put this. This is the first album I ever got. It is the Annie the Musical original Broadway cast recording. And it is the first vinyl album I ever got. I listened to it until I had to get like another one. To this day on my Spotify, I have the album as part of my collection. I sing one of the songs in the shower at least twice a week. I am convinced that I need to be.
Is it the same
Hannigan.
song or a different song each week?
It's typically the same song, but it changes sometimes. All right, let me see. I know the words to it, and I am not gonna sing it.
It's not Hard Knock Life.
It's totally not a Hard Knock Life. That would be so obvious. Let me see if I can find the name of it. It is okay. You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It doesn't matter if you're a hobo or whatever. Like I could totally sing the words, but like I said, I'm not going to. But in the shower, I built that sucker out.
I mean, these songs have definitely broken through, whether you know Annie or not, whether you like musicals, whether you're, a Broadway fan at all. I mean, everybody knows Tomorrow, The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow, and It's a Hard Knock Life. Both of those just ubiquitous. And I think even Jay-Z sampled It's a Hard Knock Life
Totally.
For one of his songs. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it in my top 5, but respect that, it is a cultural touchstone for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So those are my top 5. I have others that I put in my notes, but that's what I honed it down to. All right. So okay, first, thoughts on my selection? Like, what do you think? You think it's like
I think those are good choices, and it's those are varied choices. And you know, I think I could survive a road trip with you.
Nice.
So quite easily, like there would definitely be stuff that I would go, but you know, I think a lot of this I would actually enjoy listening to with you. So I think good choices for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And
Okay.
I'll straight up say Violent Femme's debut album is in my top 100. So right there, we cross over there for sure.
Love it. Okay. All right. So your turn. Top 5.
Okay, gosh, and
This had to be brutal for you.
oh, you said it. This was tough because there's probably 100 albums that circulate like, oh, this has got to be the best album of all time when I'm listening to it, you know. But it's so hard to just narrow it down to 5. And you know what? Some things I found, like for me, like trying to make a top 5, I decided that it's got to be a perfect album in my book. Now, everybody's got different opinions and different tastes, so somebody else may think, oh, that's only got one great song or whatever. But for me, when I'm listening to it, there's no track that I want to skip. It's just nonstop goodness. And so sometimes there's bands that are like, you know, in my top 5 bands, but maybe none of their records are in my top 5 because there's 1 or 2 tracks on each record that I go, yeah, they were experimenting or whatever. That one, whatever, for whatever reason, doesn't gel with me. So these aren't necessarily my top 5 bands, even though some of them are. But for whatever reason, these records, I think, are just perfect albums start to finish. So with that huge disclaimer, now let me tell you about 5 records nobody else has ever heard of.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So for number 1, I'm going with a prefab sprout, Steve McQueen, known in this country as Two Wheels Good. And the reason why was because the Steve McQueen estate said, oh, we don't want any like brand confusion or whatever, so you got to call it something different. So they, in the UK, it's called Steve McQueen. In this country, it was released as Two Wheels Good, but the band is Prefab Sprout, and it's, I just think, perfect from start to finish. It's hard to find a more perfect record in my book. I mean, it's just the super smart lyrics, super catchy melodies, beautiful production from Thomas Dolby. Just a straight up classic. And it's really hard even with that band because in my mind, they've released like 4 perfect records. But this one, for whatever reason, is just slight cut above those other 3.
All right. Okay.
So have you ever heard of Prefab Sprout before?
Actually I have, but like if the music like ran me over in a car, I probably wouldn't be like, oh, Prefab Sprout. But yes, I actually have heard of it.
Cool.
So now I'm writing these down because I want to check it out, of course.
So let's see. So for number 2, there's a band from the 90s called Manson, not to be confused with Marilyn Manson or the deranged killer Charles Manson.
Or Hanson and
yes,
Mbop.
Or Hanson or Mbop. It's Mansun. And it's just their second record, and it's so weird, but it's just perfect. It's just, I can't even describe it. It's like they've packed like a million ideas into about 60 minutes. And their first record, I think, was the fan favorite, but for whatever reason, 6, their second record, just them being difficult, just it strikes me as just a fantastic, perfect record. And it's like there's prog, there's punk, there's post-punk, there's indie, there's all these like genres just crammed into this thing. And I just think it's a masterpiece.
Okay. All right. Wait, and tell me what the name of it is again.
It's called 6 by the band Manson.
Okay, because I'm like literally going in and I'm getting these and I'm adding them to my collection here. Okay, all right, next.
And it's definitely not for everybody, but if you're having a bad day, there's a track called Negative that you just, it's the perfect anthem for having a bad day. So,
perfect.
So we'll move on to number 3 for me is a Dublin band called Pony Club, and not to be confused with New Young Pony Club. They call themselves because New Young Pony Club came out after Pony Club. They're like, we're happy to be old, decrepit Pony Club. And that just kind of illustrates the kind of sense of humor that the lead singer and songwriter Mark Colin has. And his songs are all basically about relationships gone awry, including, like long-term marriages and stuff. And it's like, as he says, you don't really want me to write a song about you. But
that's funny.
They're just brilliant, cutting, very smart, kitchen sink dramas. But the melodies and the hooks are just huge and beautiful.
So I'm looking this up. Is it Family Business or Home Truths?
Home Truths was the first album. Family Business is the second album. For me, I think Home Truths is fantastic, and a lot of people cite that as their favorite. But for me, Family Business is the one.
All right.
Again, he released 3 perfect records in my book. So to pick one of those 3 is really tough.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. And he's kind of like a reclusive guy too. I very, very rarely see any kind of interviews with him. And so it's very frustrating as a fan to have your favorite band be so obscure, because I've never seen them live. But
okay. All right. So number 4.
Number 4 would be British bands and Irish bands here. How about an American band? Pixies, Doolittle.
Oh.
Yeah. That's their second full-length album, and they're still going to this day and still making great music, but I don't think they've ever bettered their second album, Doolittle, which, again, just start to finish, perfect and groundbreaking. They basically invented the loud, quiet, loud song structure that like bands like Nirvana and a whole bunch of other bands in the 90s picked up and ran away with. It was the Pixies that kind of came up with that formula and, used it to fantastic effect. And, so many great songs on that album, highly recommended. And I saw them live do the album from start to finish at like 20 years after it was released. And it was still just like amazing.
That's
amazing.
So cool.
And then, number 5, I got to shout out my friends in the Band of Holy Joy. It's a British band, and their 1989 album called Manic Magic Majestic. And it is just, again, another perfect record, brilliant lyrics from singer Johnny Brown. And they're like another, very interesting, groundbreaking group that's had so many different lineups. But, they like at the time of this album, they had an accordion player, stand-up bass player, and yet there's still parts where it just straight up rocks too, So sometimes they were compared to the Pogues, which I think more people know, but they were less Celtic, being British instead of Irish. And just every song, beautiful, brilliant, and totally underrated. I have had the chance to see live a few times. I had to make a special trip to the UK to do it.
Hey!
But it was worth doing because they're fantastic. Definitely worth checking out Band of Holy Joy, but especially Manic Magic Majestic, which totally lives up to its title.
Okay. So first of all, my takeaway is the late 80s was a very rich time of music for your musical tastes. And second of all, you and my brothers would be music buddies.
Well, let me just say that the Manson album came out in 1999, and the Pony Club album was like 2005 or 2006, I think. So there is some variance there.
Well, no, there is, but I noticed a couple of them are late 80s.
That's true.
And I'm like my brother, like a lot of the musical references and music that you like, they totally remind me of a lot of the music that my brother was listening to. So we might have to have my brother on the show, and you guys can.
Sounds like your brother has good taste.
Yes, totally. I'm like, all right, I've got to share this with him and see what his thoughts are if he knows. So that was kind of fun. I think I would enjoy being on a road trip with you because I love hearing different types of music and new music and
or even
so
new
I
old
would-
music.
or even new old music. And I think the whole mixtape thing, that we all remember or a lot of us maybe remember from when we were younger, it's such a fun way to communicate like messages or like, hey, get to know me. It's such a cool thing. So, dare I say it, I kind of want an Eric Ryder playlist so that
I think this is a good idea. We need to make a Spotify or YouTube playlist of these top 5 albums for both of us so that people can check them out if they haven't heard of them.
Absolutely. I'll do it. I'll set it let's see. I'll set it up on Spotify to start with.
Fantastic.
I'll let everybody know what the name of it is. We'll have that in our regrets. I've had a few next week and let everybody know what it is. So this was fun. Oh my gosh. We have to do more of these type things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And for people that are listening, what are your top 5? I mean, what are the things?
Good question.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but what are the things, whatever your criteria is, it doesn't matter. Just share it with them. Remember that you can text or call 475-999-2726, or in the words of Eric,
475-999-2RAN.
There we go. All right. Let's take a break and let's see what Vance has to say.
Yeah,
and,
maybe he's got his
wonder
top
what
5
top
sandwiches
5 are.
for us.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right. Keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We will be right back with Vance Dingfelder of Dingfelder's Delicatessen.
Interested in learning something new? Meeting someone new? Find out things that we have in common? Well, of course you are. You're a human being. So let's get intentional about it. Join me, JDK Winnikin, every week and get all of that in less than an hour. I'm a writer, a historian, a social commentator, and my show is all about you. Really, that's what it's called. This show is all about you. Get my perspectives on the week's news and hear fascinating guests whose stories will inspire and move you. My show is all about giving you something that connects us. Join me Mondays on Kixie 880 at 3 p.m. or download it as a podcast.
Can't get enough of Stacy and Eric? Then be sure and check out Stacy Connects with Stacy Heller wherever you find podcasts. Stacy chats with guests about a variety of topics, hoping to make a connection through conversation.
Don't ask me to talk.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We just had an awesome discussion about top favorite 5 albums. But now we're switching gears. Now we've got Vance Dingfelder of Dingfelder's Delicatessen and Nourish Catering on the line. So
Definitely in my
Vance,
top 5 deli owners of all time.
right?
I don't know, Eric. How many deli owners do you know?
Well, that's why you're number 1.
I kind of figured. The top 5. I was like, 5? You know 5 deli owners?
I don't necessarily know the other, 4,
The other 4.
but I know of them. I know their work.
5 deli owners in Seattle, even.
Yeah.
The Husky
I
deli
mean-
used to be a really good deli, by the way.
Fantastic.
All right.
What
So
are we eating?
What are we eating? What are we talking about?
You know, it's Labor Day. So let's talk about something that's labor intensive. Fried chicken.
All right.
Fried chicken is really not that difficult to make. If you
But it
think about
feels like it is.
well, why does it feel difficult? Tell me, Stace.
It feels difficult because it feels like there's multiple steps. And like there's something about like we're all, or I'll just say it, I feel lazy if I have to have multiple steps and multiple like dishes or something. It freaks me out. It feels complicated.
Well, we could just go to several. We have wonderful chicken places here in Seattle, don't we?
Well, I mean, 100% we do.
Listen, none of them
However,
are better than if you make it yourself.
okay, so are you going to tell me that I know that Nourish does it because I just had it over the weekend?
So do you want to talk about, let's talk about something easy rather than doing bone in. How about boneless? Right?
Oh.
Like we're gonna do boneless chicken and we're gonna fry it. Right?
Okay.
It's a much easier, quicker way to do it. And you're not gonna fry it and have it be overdone and have it be raw by the bone. It'll come out really good. So what I recommend is that you take some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, or you can do skin on, which are my favorite, because who doesn't like fried chicken skin? Excuse me. They're called Bredmans, and you can get them at the deli. They're Jewish chicharrones.
Oh, okay.
So skin on, boneless chicken thighs. You can see them. You can get them anywhere, Costco, wherever you like. Okay. And you soak them in buttermilk. And in the buttermilk, you want to put poultry seasoning. Any poultry seasoning you find. If you like Johnny's seasoned salt or Lowry's seasoned salt, I don't care whose seasoned salt, any kind of seasoning, in addition to the poultry rub, you do that too. And make sure it's got some salt, because the salt will hold the moisture in the chicken. And you soak it overnight.
Hey, by the way, like, I assume that I'm doing buttermilk to, like, cover the thighs, and I'm adding poultry season to, like, there's not exact amounts here.
No, there really isn't. I mean, if you think about it, how about this? To a quart of buttermilk, you want half a cup of poultry seasoning and half a cup of any other seasoning that you want. So you want it to be seasoned well, okay? You can put anything you want in it, but you're going to soak it overnight. And what happens is it's the acid in the buttermilk that helps to break down the protein in the chicken, makes it tender, helps it to be juicy, gives it flavor. Next day, you're going to create a breading out of anything that you want. Panko, breadcrumbs, Progresso, it doesn't matter. You want breadcrumbs and panko, mix the two, and then put the same seasoning that you had in the buttermilk into your breadcrumbs. The one thing that you're going to add to your breadcrumb, the one ingredient that you're going to add to your breadcrumbs is baking powder. You're going to put, to every 32 ounces of breadcrumbs, you're going to put a tablespoon of baking powder and mix it in with a whisk or a fork so that it's spread throughout the breadcrumbs. So you take your chicken right out of the buttermilk, put it into your flour, and then, not flour, put it into your breadcrumbs and bread it. And then fry it.
All right.
And then you're going to fry it in your air fryer. You can put it in the refrigerator for an hour. And what the baking powder does is it makes it a little extra crispy. And that's it.
Right.
If you have oil in a frying pan, put an inch of oil in the bottom of a frying pan and fry them like you would chicken tenders. If you're fortunate enough to have a deep fryer, now you're talking. Okay.
Now you're talking. All right.
Until it cooks to 165 degrees, and that's about it. And
all right,
so it takes 5 minutes. So that's the easiest way to do it. We can do more complicated ways, but if you do it that way, you got the basics.
All right. So now, since we only have a couple minutes left here, I'm going to write this up, and then I'll share it on our Instagram page, which is Stacy Connects Podcast is the Instagram account handle. And people can try to make this. Now,
cool.
We had over the weekend, there was a wedding that you catered and I helped out with. And one of the items that you served was fried chicken sliders, and they were amazing. So tell people how you prepared them so that, okay, take your chicken and now to elevate it, now do this.
Well, it was the breading process, if you really want to know. We dipped it in egg. We dipped it in flour. First flour, then egg, and then the breadcrumbs. And that's really the difference that we did.
It was amazing.
And then, of course, wait a second. We put it on a yeasty roll that was like a King's Hawaiian roll, but it was better. It was like a yeasty kind of roll, a dinner roll with honey sriracha and pickle on the bottom, sour pickle on the bottom. That's a Chick-fil-A thing. So I did that. But the honey sriracha, all ours. All ours.
Oh. Yeah, my girls were both at the wedding, and they were like new favorite thing from Vance. And it was sort of like picking the top 5 albums like Eric and I had to do today. It is hard for them to pick the top 5 favorite Vance items, but that went like immediately to the top.
Yeah, they were like talking about those chicken sandwiches.
Oh my God. They were like beside themselves. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. So I love that each week we're talking about fried chicken. It is Chicken Month. I'm going to write up this recipe and share it with people. And then if you want to try something that's a little bit different, reach out to Nourish Catering and you can get these fried chicken sliders and you will not be disappointed. Both of my daughters say so. And my daughters are not liars. So there you go.
I love you, Stacey.
I love you too, Vance. And remember, folks,
you did a great job with that wedding. You should be really proud of yourself. You did a really good job.
Thank you. You did too. It's always a pleasure to work with you. If you want to work with Vance, and by work, I mean eat some of his food, go to dingfelders.com. And you can also go to nourishcatering.com and see what Vance and his team have to offer. You will not be disappointed. Thanks, Vance.
Thank you, Stacey. You have a great weekend.
You too. Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Vance. And that's why he's in my top 5 deli owners of all time and catering owners of all time, too, because he's just that good.
He is that good. And I love the fact that he loves food more than he even loves focusing on sponsoring his own food.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
So
don't get him started on a good note.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
We are running out of time, but we do need to pick our topic for next week.
What's it going to be?
Let's find out.
All right, here we go.
So we spin the wheel of good. All right, this would be favorite or weird idioms. And, you're going to have to define, I feel dumb, but you're going to have to define what you want from the discussion of idioms for me.
Well, I mean, an idiom is like a commonly used saying, right? So it's like it becomes, it's a saying that has its own meaning and has nothing to do with the original use of the words. So for instance, under the weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an idiom. It's a saying.
Yes.
And I'll send you a link so that you can understand it. But basically,
I just looked it up. I get what you're saying now for sure.
All right. I mean, my grandmother used to say, I'll tell the cockeyed world. So there you go.
I'll have to think some up.
All right. All right. So on that note, everyone have a great week. And we will see you next week.
That's right. Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Happy Labor Day.